Hello everyone and welcome to a new cosplay review. Today I'm going to be doing a review of EZCOSPLAY. Technically, since I'm Canadian, it should be pronounced EZCOSPLAY, but I know that's wrong. We're going to be reviewing EZCOSPLAY and their Shira cosplay. This is a company that a lot of people have been asking me to review, so I hope that you guys find this video helpful. This is going to be a very mixed review. I do have very mixed things to say. Obviously, before we get into it, just a quick disclaimer. This is not a paid video or a paid collaboration. They did provide this cosplay for me for free for the purpose of doing this review for you guys. But as always, I'm going to be completely honest about how I feel about a given product or service, and like I just said, this is going to be a very mixed review. So all that out of the way, let's get into it. One thing that I was really impressed with on their website is just how broad of a selection that they have. There's some really, really obscure characters and series that they have costumes for, which I thought was really awesome. So it actually took me a long time to figure out which costume that I wanted, just because they had such a broad selection. So that's something that really stuck out to me about their website that I thought was really awesome. Like I said, I chose Shira, which was a really good choice because it's a cosplay that I really want to do, but didn't quite have the motivation to make for myself. So it all worked out really well. And overall, I am very, very happy with the costume itself, which I will obviously go over. So there are overall 3 different listings that I have products from for this review. So technically they gave me 3 different products. So we have the actual Shira costume, we have the Shira wig, and then we have the Shira boots. So I'm going to start off by talking about the costume in and of itself. First of all, everything came in this EZCOSPLAY bag, which I really liked. It's like a little kind of drawstring backpack, but it also has handles on it. I don't know, that was an awesome bonus item that made me really happy. So you can put all the pieces of your cosplay in here, and then it's all like together when you go to store it, or if you're taking to a convention, you can put it like just in here, or you can just use this as like a backpack if you want to. I've never seen that before with any other website. So that was like an awesome little bonus item that I was really, really stoked about. So the costume by itself comes with everything except for obviously the shoes, the wig, and actually the tiara. They have 2 different Shira costumes, one that comes with the tiara and one that doesn't. I thought that the one that comes with the tiara didn't really look that great. I liked the look of this one much more, so that's the one that I went with. So obviously if you buy this, you do have to make the tiara yourself. It's advertised that way. They make it very clear that it doesn't come with the tiara, so it's not like false advertising or anything. I don't exactly know why that one in particular doesn't come with the tiara. It would be really awesome if it did, just because there's a very specific kind of like gold pleather that this costume has, and so when I was making my own tiara, it doesn't quite match, obviously because I don't have this exact same pleather, right? But by the same token, a lot of people prefer to make that piece out of like actual foam rather than have it made out of like this, you know, lame kind of pleathery material. So it's not like the biggest issue in the world. There's like positives and negatives to it not coming with the tiara, but I mean, overall it is advertised that way, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, you're prepared for it when the costume comes. It's not gonna have the tiara with it. So this costume was custom made to fit my measurements, and it fits perfectly. It is super snug, it's super comfortable, like everything is like perfectly fitted, which I was really, really happy with. It's very comfortable, and one thing that really, really stuck out to me is that the actual fabric that they have for it has a nice structure to it, which I really like. So overall, like when you're wearing the dress, it feels really like structured. It feels almost like sort of like a corset in that it like hugs you really nicely, and you feel like kind of cinched into it in like a good way, not a bad way. It doesn't feel like restrictive, it doesn't feel like uncomfortable. It's really like nice and like perfectly fits you. I hope that that's making sense. But overall, I just really like how it's constructed, especially since, like I've said, I'm very self-conscious about how like not flat my stomach is. So the fact that it's like, it felt nice and like cinchy and like form-fitting, and just kind of, you felt nicely like in there, if that makes sense. I felt awesome. I felt very powerful. I felt very good wearing this. So that's something that I'm really happy about. One thing that I was very worried about when I was looking at the listing was how this gold was going to look. I was worried that it might kind of look corny or cheesy or like not look good in photos, but it actually looks really, really awesome in photos. Photographs really nicely. This part, again, another thing that I was worried about is that it's tacked on here in 3 places rather than sewn all the way around, as you can see. I was worried that that was going to show in photos. It does not show at all, and actually the fact that it's only tacked down gives you a nice kind of range of motion in your shoulders. So overall, it's a really well constructed costume. Everything's really clean. There aren't really like any loose threads. It fits really well. A really good choice of materials. Honestly, I'm really, really happy with it. The only problem that I had when putting it on is that since the fabric is so stiff, the zipper can be quite challenging to do up in the back, so I did need to get my roommate to help me get zipped in. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're wearing this. you do need somebody to help you get into it because the zipper, especially when you're wearing it for the first time, it might loosen up as I like kind of break the cosplay in, but getting the zipper up was a bit of a challenge. But that's kind of a minor drawback. Like once you actually get the zipper up, like everything is really nicely fit and you feel very kind of like secure in it. So I don't know, I'm very, very happy with this dress. Then on the back of the dress, we have the cape, which again, really solidly made, nicely finished. Everything is really, really clean. It velcros to the back, which at first I wasn't too sure how I felt about that. I thought that it should be like attached to the dress, but that actually is not an issue at all. The Velcro, it works really well, stays on, it looks great. And one thing that I did realize is that it is actually a really good safety precaution because I've worn capes in the past with my Raven cosplay, and it's common for like if you're walking through a convention, sometimes people like accidentally step on your cape or your cape gets snagged on something and it kind of like pulls you back. So it can be a bit of a safety hazard. So if you're wearing this to a convention, you have this Velcroed on, instead of like pulling you back, the cape will get pulled off. So I think that was a really good choice on their part. And it's really easy to put on by yourself. You just put it right on. So yeah, happy with the cape. It's very full. It looks great in photos. So like all good there. Next pieces that come with the outfit are these bracers. They have Velcro closures on the bottom. Again, solidly made. They're nice and thick. The gold material matches the gold on the dress. They look great in photos. You might argue that like the fact that it has a Velcro opening maybe doesn't look the best, but honestly, you really don't see it and allows them to be like really snug on you. If it didn't have a closure, they wouldn't be able to like fit as snug as they do, and like you're not really going to see your forearms in photos anyway. So I was really happy with how these look, how they fit. They are very comfortable. And then the last piece that comes with the costume are these shorts. These shorts are by far the weakest part of the costume, I would say. In terms of construction, like everything's great. They fit really well. They have a nice elastic waistband, so they're easy to get on and off. They're very comfortable. The only gripe that I have with them is that the white fabric is a little bit on the sheer side. You can kind of see my hand through it. And then the other thing is that this particular material, I've seen it before, this kind of cheaper stretch material, it is going to pill quite easily, especially if you're sitting on like concrete or something that's going to like really grab the fibers of it. So I don't think the lifespan of these shorts are going to be nearly as long as the rest of the costume. What I will say, however, is that when you actually put them on under the dress, the peplum of the dress covers them almost completely. They are quite concealed with the rest of the costume. So while I was kind of worried about like how much they would show, how much they'd kind of be exposed to things that could make them pill, and how obvious the transparency of them would be, it actually wasn't that big of a deal when I put the whole thing on. So like not a huge issue, but definitely something that could be better, especially since it is on the thinner side. It's not a huge deal for me since I typically wear like skating tights under my costumes, but if you're like just wearing underwear underneath, it might show through, which is not ideal. So definitely the shorts are the weakest part of the costume, but aside from that, everything else is really, really strong in terms of like everything that comes with the listing for like the actual costume. Moving on, like I said, these come in a separate listing, so you do have to buy them separately from the like sheer costume. These are the boots, and I have to say the boots like blew me away as soon as I took them out of the package. They are gorgeous. They're completely made of pleather, so like perfect material choice, and they just look so awesome. Like the boots were something that I did not want to have to make myself, like making boot cover and stuff. These are like so awesomely made. They're accurate. They also have kind of a nice little like platform on the bottom of them, and they're very comfortable. Again, I gave the company my measurements, so they're custom made for me and they fit perfectly. I was really, really excited about these. Like I've never seen pre-made cosplay shoes up close like this before, so I was just really excited. They're really nicely made, so I'm very happy with the boots. They have a nice zipper in the back, so they're easy to take on and off. Yeah, just I was really impressed. So awesome, especially since making boot covers is like such a pain, particularly ones that are really intricate like this. So just the fact that they offer these boots, that they're really nicely made and like accurate and everything is just really good. So I was very happy. And then last and definitely least, we have the wig. This again is a separate listing, but they sent me the items so that I could do the review. It's a little bit messy since I haven't properly given it a comb out since shooting in it, but the wig by far is the weakest part of this entire thing, and I would not recommend buying it. In terms of the color and everything, I was worried that it was going to be too shiny and that it was going to look too yellow. It actually, in terms of color and the shininess, it did actually, I think, hold up really well in the photos. The problem that I have with it is that it is insanely thin. It is actually very challenging to style it for the photos because it's super thin, especially in the front. and you do have to part it, right, to style it like her hair. There's this band. I'm just gonna put it on, actually. All right, so the biggest challenge that I had actually was getting it all styled for photos. It's so thin at the front, and there's this big, thick band right here, and kind of no matter how you part it, that band always shows. And so it took a lot of effort to very precariously position the hair so that you wouldn't see this very obvious band, but you'd still have the part in her hair. The whole thing is just so thin at the front, and apparently it's also thin at the back. I'll try spinning around so you guys can see. When I was getting ready for my shoot, my roommate actually came into the room and said that she could see straight through the back of the wig and like see straight like into my wig cap, which obviously you don't want. A wig should really not be this challenging to style, so I do not recommend buying this wig. I don't know how their other wigs are, but this wig definitely I would not recommend getting. I'd recommend going to Arta Wigs or something like that to get yourself a much fuller, thicker blonde wig. So finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is their shipping, because this is another thing that I have very mixed thoughts about. So the shipping for this costume and the construction time and everything was actually very quick. It came within, I think, about like 3 weeks, which is pretty standard for cosplays and definitely what you should expect. Thing is that I've actually ordered from EZCOSPLAY before, long before I ever partnered with them. I bought actually my earrings for my Ash cosplay from them. This was about 1.5 years ago, and the shipping time was insane. I don't know if they got like a little bit lost in the mail or what happened, but I placed the order. They do have this feature where you can say when you need it for. I was going to use those earrings for a makeup tutorial video initially. So I kind of put a rough estimate of the date when I needed them. And then the idea, I guess, is that if they don't think that they can fulfill the order by then they'll let you know. Didn't hear anything from them. And the earrings came so far past that. They came so far past kind of the estimated time of arrival, and they came way past obviously the time that I said that I needed them by. It was like months and months and months. I think it took about, I want to say like 3 or more months for them to arrive. It got to the point where I thought like maybe I had placed the order wrong, maybe I had accidentally put in the wrong address or didn't provide the PayPal payment by accident or something had happened, I don't know. But I looked back and everything had been correct and it was supposed to be on its way. I can kind of understand that if you're buying something like off of eBay and you know the product itself is like $10 and you're getting free shipping, like when it's free shipping from like China or whatever, it's going to take obviously a long time, so like that kind of thing is more understandable. But here, like I'm paying for shipping. The shipping actually was pretty much the same amount as the earrings, and it took so long for them to arrive. When they arrived, it was actually from like a different brand. The earrings were provided by a different manufacturer, and then they were just like reselling them, which is totally fine obviously, but it's not like a custom made item. So they do estimate, I think, like 12 to 25 days to actually construct the item. But in this case, obviously, if they were buying it from another manufacturer, it should be just ready to go and ready to ship. And their shipping time is about like 2 to 3 weeks. And mine came, like I said, so far past that window. Like when the earrings actually arrived, I was like, oh, I guess I do have earrings now, because I thought I had to write them off. I was like, oh, I guess I'm just like not gonna get these earrings because like they just haven't shown up and it's been months. So I don't know if that's just kind of an isolated incident or not. I did look at other people's Trustpilot reviews for EZCOSPLAY, and the reviews were very mixed. Those obviously are not my own experiences, so I don't have all the information, so I don't really want to talk about like other people's experiences when I don't have kind of like the full story. But I do have obviously my own experience, which definitely made me a little kind of apprehensive in terms of the shipping time that this company provides, right? It was 1.5 years ago. Maybe they become better. Maybe that was an isolated incident. I'm not really sure. I do have a lot of personal friends who have bought a bunch of their cosplays from EZCOSPLAY, and they swear by them. Everything has arrived on time. So I would really love it if you guys have experiences buying from EZCOSPLAY. Please let me know in the comments. I'd really be interested to know your experiences in terms of how long it takes for their stuff to show up. So yeah, so in terms of the actual costume and the construction, I think everything is great. I was really impressed with it. I do really enjoy wearing the Shira cosplay. I was really happy with it. And again, a lot of things that I was nervous about ended up being great. The wig, I definitely would recommend going to a different company. The boots are fantastic, like super happy with the boots. And in terms of delivery time, kind of on the fence, not really sure how to feel about that. Hopefully my experience with their shipping time was in the past. Hopefully they've like improved since then, because the actual costume is really, really nice. And again, I really like that it like comes with a bag and everything. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope this was helpful, even though it is kind of very mixed. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you found this cosplay review helpful, and I will see you guys all next time. But until then, Panda Faces, please be sure to take care. Bye.